Okay, so I just wanted to come on today and just start a little dialogue with veterans that might be out there. Um, I served during Desert Storm. My husband's a veteran. My father was a veteran. My sisters, siblings, brothers, cousins, uncles, aunts. And there's just sometimes you just want to just get stuff off your chest. And for me, uh, waking up this morning, my husband showed me an article that was out there for CBS News that said that if you were during Desert Storm or any of those Iraqi freedom, all those, if you were around a burn pit, then you are eligible for compensation. That is such, well, first it said that they've denied the fact that they finally were no longer in denial that there were burn pits and that it could have caused, I think there were like 10 different things that they said, okay, this might have contributed to, maybe cancer. So in other words, you need to file a claim. And for those of you who've already put a claim in, God bless you. But I am a combat vet who served during Desert Storm, and I am still currently sitting at zero compensation. And it's not all about that. It's just that I had another veteran who said to me one time, if they broke you, then let them fix you. And it's not about putting in false anything, but it's been a few years since Desert Storm. And now that I'm getting older, there are things that might not have shown up back then, and I didn't even put in for any kind of compensation or even try and file for a VA card until 2000, after 2006, 7, 2000, when I encountered the military veteran who said, if they broke you, they need to fix you. So, we all suffer from a lot of different things, but there are people who have cancer and now they can go and reapply for this burn pit thing. So if you, by all means, know more than I do, because I'm just like, it takes a certain level of, I don't know, courage, whatever, to hit that button and go live, because you're opening yourself up for a lot of different criticisms or whatever. So I'm just trying to see if I can find that, what the top 10 things were that they said were on the list. 10 conditions caused by burn pit exposure. Now, of course, that's all, I won't say it's speculation, but let's just see. And then, the CBS News said that the burden of proof should be on the military. Trying to file for compensation is a whole job all to itself. I mean, it's like, I'm not saying that people should quit their job, but I haven't been working for a while. But it takes a whole lot to just get what is due you, your due process. So the 10 conditions caused by burn pit exposure, the number one thing says cancer, skin problems, asthma, bronchitis, sleep apnea, which I just got a sleep apnea machine, and that's a whole nother topic because it took me almost 2 weeks to even kind of get used to even sleep with that thing on your nose. And I didn't like that. It felt like, wake up, there's perspiration everywhere. So then I changed it to the one that goes in your nose. And I don't like the way that feels in my nose, So anyway, the score that they give you, because I downloaded the app for my phone, my score is starting to look a little bit better. But I still wake up and my nose hurts from having that thing in my nose. And then sometimes I would wake up and I had a bloody nose, and make sure you have water in it is what they say if you're prone to bloody noses and headaches. So anyway, sleep apnea is on this, respiratory problems, pulmonary conditions. Okay. So I've had 2 pulmonary embolisms, I think, and they tested me like crazy to figure out what the heck caused these things. Even, some conditions that were prone to people who are of color, like, like lupus and just certain things. She tested me for everything under the sun, and everything came back negative. So you kind of want to know when to come back with something so that you can know all clear. It was all clear. You kind of want to know that whatever is causing the embolism, and not just one. The doctor told me if I had waited any longer, because you got that GI Jane syndrome or GI Joe syndrome. Well, I can tough it out. Well, I had so much pain that I told my husband, take me to the emergency room. We were driving from Virginia back to New England, which is where we live. And on the highway, they say that normally the blood clots start in your legs. Well, it was nothing in my legs. It was straight in my lung. And I thought I was having a heart attack and I was dying. And of course, me getting to the hospital, they gave me a shot and it made me gave me some energy, kind of revitalized me. And they did a couple other things. And I didn't want to stay in the hospital for a CAT scan because, like I said, we were like in New Jersey and wanted to get home. It was late. I had my kids in the car. We were hungry. So they made me sign a form saying that I declined medical services, which I did. I didn't realize how serious that was. And that was like a Saturday night. So we got home, and that morning at like 11 o'clock in the morning, it might have been a little bit earlier, I woke up because we got home late, so I slept in. Again, I thought that I was having a heart attack, and I'm like, take me to the ER. And thank God we live a couple of blocks from the ER. And the doctor said, well, if you were there last night, why didn't you get the scan? I said, I didn't. They gave me a shot, and I thought I was better. Well, he said, you could have died. And long story short, that scared the crap out of me, especially because I had, young kids. This was a few years back now. That was like 2015. These things don't happen immediately, right? Just because you served back in whenever, symptoms and things don't happen right away. It might happen later on. So just before the pandemic in 2019, I had another issue with a blood clot, waking up in the middle of the night and telling my husband, I can't breathe. And I feel like an elephant is sitting on my chest. And we went to the ER, and sure enough, I had another blood clot. Now, what the heck? The chances of having two blood clots, and they were already in my lung. They weren't even in my legs. So it's just scary stuff. And I'm just inviting anybody else who's a veteran who maybe can give me some advice, or I don't know, let's just start a dialogue. So I just felt like jumping on here today. And so pulmonary conditions, cardiovascular problems, migraines, and neurological conditions. So that's just the beginning of the 10 conditions possibly caused by burn pit exposure that was on the CBS News. They said also go to cbsnews.com if you want to find out, read up on some other things that may fit whatever it is that you have or going through. But the thing is, getting over, I guess most of us, or a lot of us, me, speaking for me only, you come back and you figure you didn't have anything physical. My arm wasn't cut off. My leg wasn't cut off. I didn't get shot. So you figure, well, I'm not as worse off as other people are. So you don't file. Okay. So that's number one. And then being in denial came back, and I just wanted to jump right back into regular life and feel like a regular person. Although when I did come back, I had miscarriages. I had 2 miscarriages. So come to find out, during that time frame, the men who were coming back having relations with their wives were having miscarriages. Go figure. And I think I heard too that around that time that women, they might not have been there, but their husband was there, and insemination, whatever. I'm not trying to be gross, but the husband was over there. He was infected with all these things. They made us take shots. Going back to the shots. So here I am in Desert Storm, and they said we all mandatory shots, vaccine, right? So you can imagine when the vaccine thing came around this time, that scared the crap out of me, because having the vaccine shot during Desert Storm, I'm in a unit. It was Air Force, so I can't say platoon. I was in a unit, and they were calling everybody to come and get this vaccine. I was like, I wasn't hiding because I still had to go to work, but I'm like, I don't want to take this vaccine. So I finally said to the person, in charge, who was this tested? Where was this tested? Oh, it was tested on horses and cows. I'm like, are you serious? So I kept delaying it. And so out of a unit of 200 something people, I think I was near to the bottom of the last person who took this shot. They said, if you do not take this shot, you are going to be considered, you can be court-martialed. I mean, if I really could have, I don't know at that time, but here I am sitting in Desert Storm over in Saudi Arabia without my family, without people to back me. So what did I do? You best believe I took that shot, even though I didn't want to. And after I got back home from Desert Storm, I did have 2 miscarriages. Was it just stress from the whole? I don't know. And of course, the military wants to tell you that it had nothing to do with me being over in the storm. Lies, lies, and continual lies. I'm sorry if this does not sound professional. Yes, I served my country, love my country, but if they broke you, let them fix you. So the thing is finding the other thing that really irked me. That's it. I said, let me just come on here. There, okay. Obviously, I'm a POC, person of color. Um, I had asked a lady therapist, um, why is it that it seems to me that people who are not a POC get their claims filed faster than those who do? Now, it might be, I said, it might just be my imagination, but that's what it seems to me. And then what happened a couple of months ago, just here we are in 2003, and just I think the end of 2020, 2022, somebody took their court case to Yale University. And if I'm quoting anything wrong, feel free to put it in the comments later if you see this later. They took a couple of veterans, they gathered them all up, and they had a court case that said this one man was in Vietnam War, and for years his compensation was declined. And finally they said, okay, this was a racial thing, that minorities were not getting their files claimed on purpose. So I say to you, fellow veterans, how do you keep from getting discouraged when you file repeatedly over and over and over again? You see other people's claims being filed and yours are still not being filed or still not being processed. Is there some magic trick? Now I have heard, just quoting other people that say that are people paying people off to get these things done? I mean, legitimate people have legitimate claims and you're still waiting to be compensated. So I guess you can kind of call this as a rant. I don't know if you came here and you under false pretenses. I'm sorry. I'm not saying glory, 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 all is well. I'm saying there are some things that are wrong and they need to be fixed. So if you know of a reputable way, besides, you're filing and you're filing and you're filing, that, like I said, it's almost like they want you to give up hope. But I have, people, counselors and different people saying, just keep going, keep jumping through those hoops. But I tell you what, it is definitely exhausting to keep jumping through those hoops. So I'm going to continue to do that. But like I said, if you all have any advice to give me, I mean, do I have to leave from New England area and go to an area where there's predominantly more counselors who look like me? And I'm not saying that you want anybody to do anything illegal. You want to have a fair chance. That's all that I'm saying, is that you want to have a fair chance at getting what is rightfully yours. And I did hear in a town hall meeting yesterday that they had in my area that some people are going to a lawyer or to some of these companies that open up to do comp and pen, and they get a lump sum. Well, the lawyer takes their percentage of the lump sum. And then when the veteran goes back to the VA to say, hey, they started the paperwork for me, can you help me out? They're like, no, you didn't. You just got what was due to you because you got it all in one lump sum by going to this outside agency. So I guess it's best to, do everything according to the guidelines, and you won't get spammed or shanked or whatever. I don't know the proper terminology for that. But again, I'd like to come on a regular basis and, talk more lightheartedly about these different things. Maybe 1 or 2 people will see it, maybe not. I don't know. But I just felt like getting it off my chest. And if you have, like I said, if you want to leave a comment and give me your 2 cents on what you did to file your claim, I would totally, totally appreciate that. So, I forgot to say, okay, so I'm Nubia of Nubian Queen Nation. All right. I also have a podcast. Didn't think to do this as a podcast, but I guess I could eventually upload it that way. But on a lighter note, I can't, life is good. I have 4 healthy children, and, this is just talking about veteran things does not always lead me in a happy place. I have to say that. You know, when I was in denial and just going about homeschooling and raising my children and, you know, being married to my lovely husband for 35 years, I'm in my happy place. But then when I start thinking of Desert Storm and military experience, that kind of drives me right down to a rabbit hole, like almost like being in a dungeon. You don't want to talk about it. Talking about being in a dungeon, I was able this past year to write a chapter. All right. So we all have a chapter. We all have a book in us. I know I had a pastor that told me back in Tampa that everybody has at least one book in them. Well, I haven't written a book, but I was able to be a part of, what's it called? I Am Stronger Than the Storm. And because of the title, I thought, you know what? And so there was 27 different women that were able to contribute their chapters on what their storm was. And when I heard the name of the title of the book, I'm like, you know what? That'd be a good opportunity to me to start writing down notes of what happened to me during Desert Storm. So that's my little picture right there. So, I mean, if you're interested in getting the book, you know, contact me. I am Nubian Queen 2020 on Instagram, and or my email is NubianQueenNation at Gmail. So I guess I can put that in there. Again, you know, I'm hoping that this is kind of a safe place, but I am opening myself up to people to leave nice comments. You know, I did serve my country. So my email is NubianQueenNation at gmail.com, and I can be found on IG, Nubian Queen 2020. All right. So even just getting that off my chest feels a little bit better. If you have, you know, in your local town, if you have little, what do they call it? Town hall meetings for veterans. That's the other thing. So I went, like I said, finding other female veterans to talk to on a regular basis. Again, I'm in New England. I know there's a lot of different support groups that are maybe in the DC area or Baltimore or that, you know, Maryland. I'm not in those areas. I'm in New England. So if you guys know of any, a solid group of veteran women who are getting together and supporting each other, and even a group of veterans who are entrepreneurs. I was asking about, I know there's a group called SCORE. You know, where's the SCORE for veterans? You know, if you have a question about whatever it is that you want to do, that you're endeavoring to do, you should be able to find, I'd love to find a female mentor in an area that I'm interested in. You know, social media, learning how to do funnels and landing pages and those type of things. So if you're out there, please contact me at, you know, leave a comment below, or so this will probably be stored in my YouTube in the live section. I mean, I'm new at doing all this, so please give me, this is the learning curve. Again, I think I wanted to do this 2 weeks ago, and then if you don't do it right away, then you kind of chicken out. I know me, you kind of chicken out and you don't do it in your thought pattern. You know, staying focused should have been on that list of 10. It's hard to stay focused and to just get on and ramble or talk and give your thoughts. So just wanted to start it live for veterans, you know, and you know, I was also a homeschooler. So if you're a homeschooler and you know a vet, send them all over my way. The other thing that's been a tough issue for me is, you know, as you get older, staying fit, and which starts here in the mindset, but staying fit, eating healthy, which is one of my good things, but exercising is not. And see, there I go, forgetting what I was going to say. Oh, wanting to start something on February 1st. So I know I only have a couple of days to get myself together. But if anybody would like to join me on, you know, cutting back on sugar, drinking more water, accountability group, I'm going to start a group on Facebook. Maybe I'll come back and post it here. And I'm trying to get it together. And the program's only going to be like $27, and that's for my time and for all the materials that I'm getting together. You know, a small ebook, and maybe we'll all chat once a week for starting February 1st till the 28th. So that'll be 4 weeks. I think that's manageable, right? Not like 40 days of fasting or anything like that. And so it'd be mainly on I'm calling it 28-day total body cleanse cleanup challenge type of thing. The first week they're asking you to, I'm switching gears there, sorry. Asking you to stop drinking sodas and all the caffeinated stuff if you can. And then they add on the next week where so it says drink 0 calories. Next week is like some smoothies. I'll have a couple of recipes for you guys. And then the third week, I would prefer that you stop doing all these things in 1 week. But if you can't do a cold turkey, you can take it 1 week at a time. And so the third week is swap out your white flours and your white sugar and those type of things. And then fourth week, ditching the dairy. So just basically, people, you can do it all by yourself, but sometimes it's fun to encourage one another and to be accountable to somebody else. So I'm hoping to be your accountability partner. And so I have all the information. And so if you want to know more about that, you could either leave an email, DM me on Instagram, and I'll send you the information and the link. So far I only have it to where you can pay me through PayPal, but like $27 because it's like a beta program. But I would love to have as many veteran women there as possible. If you're a man and you want to join by all means. But I am trying to definitely, like I said, that when I went to that town hall meeting, there might have been 10 to 15 people altogether. And out of the 10 to 15, there were 3 women there. And one was a wife of a veteran. And then the other 2 was me, myself, and another lady. So it's hard to find us female veterans. It's like we're like a needle in a haystack, like finding a needle in a haystack. So that's all that I think I have for this time. I would like to make it a thing on Fridays. So if you're interested, please leave a comment below. And leaving it on a high note, that's all that I have for now. And if you had different topics that you'd like to talk about, talking about what was it like when you came back from Desert Storm? If you know anybody who was at Desert Storm or any of those, bring them all over here. Maybe we can have a conversation. I would love to find some of the people that I was stationed with in Saudi Arabia during the Desert Storm era, which was like 1990, 91 type of thing. I think I came back in 91. So that's it. That's all I have for now. End this by saying peace and blessings. If you're a vet who is in a very, very sad state for today, please call the 1-800 number. Hopefully I'll have that available so that I can give it out again. But I think it's a sad statistic that there are like 22 military people who commit suicide. Is it a daily basis? That's very high. That's a high rate. So we need to come together as a community. I'm not a licensed anything, therapist or whatever. I'm just a person who just wants to gather us all together as a community. So maybe this is a place to begin. But I thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, I appreciate your support. All right. That's all I have for now. This is Nubia of Nubian Queen Nation. Peace and blessings.